Major funding for these broadcasts is made possible by grants from Capital One Bank, New York Community Bank, Eastern Consolidated, M&T Bank, Sterling National Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Customers Bank, Ariel Property Advisors, Dime Community Bank. Additional funding is made possible by grants from AM Trust Title, AVR Realty Company, Avison Young, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Commercial Mortgage, Citizens Bank, CPEX Real Estate Services, Colliers International NYC, Cohen Equities, Collins Building Services, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handler Real Estate Organization, Handro Properties, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, New Banks, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Meringoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Organization, Moynihan Capital Partners, and these friends.
Residential market. It's strong, it's moving, there's developments all over the city and the region. So today I've assembled this group of distinguished business leaders, or AKA friends, to discuss what's happening in the residential market in the region. My guests, they include Hal Fetner, who is president and CEO of Fetner Properties, Jim Hedden, a former banker, who is the chief development officer at Rose Associates, Adam Altman, who is co-founder and a managing member of KABR Group. And last but not least, Stephen P. Wald, who is the principal broker and principal at Stephen P. Wald Real Estate. So what's really happening? People are saying that there's too much inventory coming on the market, in the residential. I believe that all of this is going to be absorbed. Where do you see this? How?
Well, if you start with and you look at building permits from the last big rise, 2004 to 2008, and then you look at building permits that have been pulled in the last 3-4 years, we're still about 15 to 20-something% lower, less units than that last run. So we're very bullish. It's also a function of if you're a family business. We take a very long-term view, so we're actually in a buying mode right now.
Let's talk about neighborhoods, okay? There was a time that we would never hear of Rose Associates being in Long Island City. We wouldn't hear of Fetner Properties being in Long Island City or other areas. I mean, you're in Stamford, you're in Jersey City. There's no neighborhood that's really far away to speak of today. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything now is centered on commutation and the lifestyle around you when you're living in that place. People are generally trading size of unit for convenience of location and convenience of amenities within the building. And certainly I think that's a trend.
So are you quietly saying that a one bedroom, which at one time might have been 750 feet, today is 550 feet?
One could see that happening in certain developers' buildings. I think that also is going to be dictated by the geography. And the more expensive of an area you tend to go to, the more space you're going to have to sacrifice. When you get out to the Stamfords or the Jersey Cities, the units tend to be larger than that and kind of more more traditional in terms of the measurements that people have been accustomed to.
So here's a question, then I'm going to get to Stephen. You're in Jersey City, you're in Astoria today, you're in Stanford. We're not talking about the Florida properties over there. You've gone over there. Rose has traditionally and continues to be New York City born and bred, mostly Manhattan.
Stay tuned.
Okay, maybe.
Stay tuned.
That's Hal, you've stayed in Manhattan, okay? You've been on the Upper East Side. You've been on 42nd Street before 42nd Street is changed. Where do you see the next opportunity for growth?
Well, I mean, we're now in Long Island City. We were trying to do something in Brooklyn. You know, I agree. We're looking at where the millennials want to be, and transportation is really the key. Cost is a massive factor to everything. We were losing a lot of our Upper East Side residents and our assets to Long Island City, to Williamsburg, and Park Slope, going out along the different subway lines. You know, we're looking at something right now in Coney Island, a large project, and you know, we will probably sit with that property for about 2 years, but we're going to do something out there as well.
Now, I've done a number of shows, and whenever I've done shows on Brooklyn, and we've spoken about Coney Island, many people have said to me the fact that Coney Island is close to an hour away. You know, you get off the subway, and when you get off the subway, you still have to take a bus or another vehicle to get to most of the places.
Well, unless you're located right next to that beautiful new transit center that they built.
There's no question, but it depends on what's moving in over there. I mean, Rose Associates today is in downtown Brooklyn, correct?
Correct.
So, you know, this is a different market. And, you know, look, even lower Manhattan, I mean, you have 70 Pine, which is a wonderful situation. How important to you on sales today are oriented because of the extension of the 7 line? Okay, a couple of things. The 7 line and the ferries. Do you see that helping?
I think it's definitely changed the marketplace because people are now willing to travel, as you said, for amenities. When the price is right, if you're out of the zone, you're the next stop out, whether it's the train or the boat ride, and the amenities are there, younger people, the millennials, will come into people want brand new luxury. And if that's the affordable spot, it's going to have legs and it's going to run for a while. My only fear is if there's a little, you know, downturn, it's the last train stop out, that's the first one to drop down a little bit. But it always seems to recover.
Jersey City, let's talk about that.
Sure. Jersey City is a market that continues to have a really strong and positive evolution. A lot of what we're doing is building a lot of amenities because you want to induce people to take that extra 10 minutes of commutation time to have a slightly larger unit and to have amenities that would be 50-60% more in New York City. You know, we're very focused also on the Journal Square neighborhood because of the commutation hub that is represented there. I mean, to be at a few different points within Manhattan in under 15 minutes is only from the shortest commutation points in Brooklyn or Long Island City can that be achieved.
And it's interesting, you know, on Jersey City, and I'm not going to see this problem on Coney Island, but I see this in Jersey City specifically, and the 7 line now to 34th Street. It's wonderful if you get on the first stop, but try to get on the 7 line at Times Square and go to Citi Field or the tennis center. You can't. You have to wait 3 trains. So it's the same problem that you have on the path.
Yeah, infrastructure and finding ways to realistically improve infrastructure is, you know, I think a challenge that I'd love to see Jersey City and the state take head on.
But with regard to that, and this is something that may help, you know, all of the developers today, you know, there's the BQX that they're talking about, the transit system traveling around the city of New York over there, the trolley, as they would say. One of the, you know, it's the light rail has done great wonders in New Jersey. It's a different opportunity. The topography was there. What do you think of the BQX and the trolley system helping the city in residential development?
Well, I'm not going to get in Deputy Mayor Alicia Glenn's way. I mean, you know, they're researching it. I mean, there are, you said it, there's a lot of obstacles to it. So it's if it happens, I think it's a great thing to happen, and it helps everything from Greenpoint all the way into Queens, all the way up towards Astoria and Hallett's Point for the Durst family. But there are serious obstacles in terms of a few bridges that they have to get over. So there are some infrastructure problems in getting that built.
Jim, where are the opportunities today?
I think the rental housing has always been on the fringes, right? So as we've discussed, it's Jersey City, it's north of northern Manhattan, it's Westchester, it's east along the transportation lines. Like I think anything that the government and or public-private partnerships can do to expand and improve the infrastructure, I think is well received by everyone. I think it's just good business. We are looking north of Manhattan. We are looking west of Manhattan. We are looking at different products. Typically we would build high-rise. We're looking at stick-built. We're looking at we're looking at block and plank. We're looking at making housing affordable, because that's really what you're talking about. There's still a population growth in New York City. Unlike office and retail, what we have now is a supply issue, not a demand issue. So when you opened up and you said, ultimately these units will get absorbed, Hal noted that, historically what units are coming on are still a small percentage of what we've seen. So we're very bullish. But finding good deals, finding deals that we can make work as a rental, and cost of construction are still relatively high.
One of the areas that really hasn't seen the gentrification is the Washington Heights neighborhood, the Inwood neighborhood. And I believe that there are great opportunities over there because the trains are there.
I agree.
It's gotten expensive.
Have you looked at that type of market?
Yeah, we owned we bought a defaulted note on a condo property. It was set to be a condo property in Riverdale that we turned into a rental property. Riverdale's a great market. Now that's north of Inwood, but when you look at Kingsbridge and Inwood and some of those areas in Washington Heights, I'm surprised when I drive around there, and I love driving around neighborhoods or walking neighborhoods. It's a great pleasure of mine to see the kinds of street level retail that's opening up to service the community, and to see the mixture of people that are coming together in those neighborhoods. I think it's great. And you're right, the pricing, because I went and looked at some of the pricing of some of the co-ops that have long ago been converted, or there are not too many new condos up there. I was surprised at how much more expensive they were than what I thought they would be.
One of the areas that Hal developed a couple of years ago was up in Harlem, but the initial closer section of Harlem. Harlem is seeing a resurrection again. What about with the developments where Columbia, the new Columbia, do you see that as an opportunity for growth?
Well, yeah, we actually tried to build something up there when the church was selling, St. John Divine was selling their site, and it came down to us in the Brodsky organization, and Dan ended up winning that site. So we're very big on looking in that area. To be very candid and not giving away any secrets, we are really right now trying to find housing near a number of universities so that they would lease in one of our properties, get to know Fetner properties, and after they graduate, they would then want to move into one of our other assets.
So you're trying to get from generational, let's say.
We're trying to, well...
In generation from students to people in renting over there. One of the biggest items today is social media. Okay? How important is social media changing the residential market, both as a sales broker for your company and, on your properties? I mean, all of you have new properties, or planned one at 92nd Street, one in the Long Island City. Today, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything, those are important. How important are you effectively using that?
I hope we're effectively using them. I'm not an expert in that vertical, but it is incredibly important. It's become part of our everyday vernacular. The use of social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or a lot of these other sources we can see at all levels.
Okay, I don't want to age myself, but if we look back in time, the real estate section of the New York Times, okay, the New York Times used to have a 30-page real estate section, okay, and today, nobody.
It's just a different avenue to communicate, right? So it's just a form of communication. I think what's more important is the technology and the technology we use in our building to make people's lives easier and more accessible. So whether it be ordering food within your building or whether it be making an appointment for a massage in the local establishment. I mean, I think it's all about creating accessibility for you.
Cold package storage when you walk in, that's a huge, an important area to consider now because everyone gets grocery deliveries. And if they're not home, you need to be able to store that stuff effectively. The size of the package rooms is a consideration that we're looking at when we build buildings now because you just, people get 5, 6, 7 items a day.
If you look at our older assets that we built and the size of our package rooms versus what we're building now in terms of package rooms, it's triple the size. With Amazon and Fresh Direct storage, I'll come into one of my buildings at any time of the day and I'll see packages in the lobby, on the floor, and it drives me crazy. But this is what we're now dealing with, and so we're actually renovating most of our older assets to be able to fit a refrigerator. But to Jim's point, all the social media has become very, very important to Fetner Properties. I mean, our budgets years past of what we would pay for advertising in New York Times is today zero. What we do now in all the different social media is very, very important. But the real thing is once I have that resident living in one of my buildings, it's all of that new technology to make their lives that much easier. Yeah. And that's where we spend a lot of time thinking and trying to outthink the other guy.
But it doesn't end when they come to your, it actually just starts when they get into your building.
100%.
We've created an app in our management platform really around each building. And when you are a resident, you can look up, again, local reservations in restaurants. We have a gym in several of our buildings where you can set a gym training appointment. So it's really about connecting with your residents and having them full.
So here's a question really more for Steve because he's more in the for sale. Co-ops are harder to sell than condos. People like the accessibility over there. Are co-op boards becoming more user-friendly to help people sell?
Co-op boards who have new board members that are younger are pushing to ease the rules, whether it's taking away the 50% financing contingencies on tough buildings or sublet policies. They really want to make co-ops user-friendly because they feel like they're losing ground in the market. You can't compete with a new condominium with every amenity that we're talking about when you're in a pre-war building, whether it's on Central Park or Riverside or Fifth Avenue, and you lack these. So you have a nice small gym in the building, and then you put all these restraints on people, then people say, well, why aren't my apartments selling for $2,000, $3,000 a foot? $4,000 a foot, unless it's the handful of blue chip buildings, along Fifth Avenue. So boards are, I think, easing up a bit. They need to move forward in that manner.
One of the big topics today, is co-living. This concept over there of co-living. And somebody brought it up to me recently on a co-living show. It's a nice idea, but all of a sudden I have a roommate who I have no idea, and they could be a stalker. Or, it's... I mean, how do you look at when you're renting apartments in your building? How are you qualifying somebody who are sharing an apartment, okay, which in a way is co-living, right?
We were talking about qualifications in the green room actually prior to coming on set, how you can talk about it, because I think you put in place a pretty interesting process that I was learning from.
Well, our process is really more for our moderate residents, and it's a very, very strict policy on how we can go about finding moderate residents after they've entered a lottery. But the real question that you're asking about with co-living is really not dissimilar to the concept that we're fighting against in terms of Airbnb, which is who's living next door, where when I accept a resident to live in one of my buildings and they've gone through credit checks and other types of background checks, and we see how they lived in other buildings and they have good references, but I can't control who is living in a unit because they put it out to an Airbnb. That gives us great concern.
Let's say you find someone, because many people are using Airbnb. In one of my inspections a couple of years ago for New York Community Bank, I walk into this building not too far from your building on 92nd Street or First Avenue. It's a walk-up building, and I see these suitcases outside the door, and I say to the superintendent, "Who lives here?" He says, "Oh, they have friends who come all the time from different places." So I said to him, "They don't have friends. They're renting the room out." Okay, the Airbnb commercials are one concept. Okay, Airbnb is helping the people to make money. The other approach is, how do you take care of that? You don't want an Airbnb because, as you just said, you've qualified this consumer to be in that apartment, and they want nice things happening. What do you do?
We pursue it aggressively.
You're downtown at 70 Pine, okay? You have the major Rudin building with, we live and we work,
Right.
okay? What's your thoughts in the concept of co-living? There are certain landlords today, Adam America put a building out and they did a co-living arrangement with the company called Common. And I ran into them recently at an event, and I said, "How are they doing?" He said, "We did better renting our apartments ourselves than with co-living."
I see a need for it. I see there's a place for it in the market. Cities are very expensive, and so on some level it creates an affordability for someone who needs to be in downtown or in Manhattan. We haven't sort of delved into that business yet. It is a business. You are managing room by room and tenant by tenant, and I'm sure there's all sorts of management issues that go on between one resident and the other, and we don't get into that at this point. When two tenants come to us, I'm assuming they've worked all of their deal out, and we obviously screen them both. But I understand it. I think it's a niche, and we'll see how deep it goes into the market. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many folks want to share and how long they want to share. And while there's a bubble with millennials in the market today, I don't know how long that lasts. But it does point to and for the need to have a common area space, and people want to be programmed. And again, getting back to the app, people want to know what's going on tonight, and people want to share and be very communal. So there is an aspect of that we adopt in our rental buildings to share and be communal as a building.
One area of residential which I believe there's a great opportunity, the question is getting the land at the right price and the location, is the senior housing. There are two senior housing, one being built very close to your development on 92nd Street. I think that's a great opportunity if it could be acquired, because baby boomers are living longer. They want to be over there. They don't want a big apartment. They want to downsize certain of their apartments, and they want to have the accessibility of food, kitchen over there, some amenities.
Co-living has been around forever, right? If you went to sleepaway camp, it was co-living. If you lived in a dorm, it was co-living. If you're going back to the tenements on the Lower East Side, it was co-living, right? There might have been one bathroom at the end of the hallway. So co-living as a concept, senior citizen homes, elder care.
Oh.
I'm not talking elder care. I'm talking
Luxury senior
I'm talking
living.
Luxury senior living.
High-end assisted living.
High-end assisted living. That's
Continuing care community.
No, that's not. That's even further. Okay.
But they're all forms of co-living.
right.
But at different levels. And I think you're referring to the building that's coming up on 56 and Lex.
I'm talking Lex, and I'm talking 92nd Street.
I think it's so needed because the city's getting great PR on that New York is a great place to grow old. And if you live in a good doorman building and you're elderly, they don't see you, they come to look for you. When you're beyond that point and you need some assistance and you want to really live with your own generation, it's fabulous and it's needed. And I think it's going to do extremely well at very high prices.
At very high prices. I recently met with a large private equity company and a large assisted living company to discuss just this. And I was more putting two experts together than acting as a matchmaker as opposed to. And at the very high end, when you look around New York, and I've gone through this now with my grandparents as they've gotten older, to have the ability to live in a really dignified, independent fashion where you feel that freedom, but you also have the assistance, but you feel like you're really living alone in your own apartment on Fifth Avenue or wherever it is. It's really difficult to find. I haven't seen it yet.
And I'll give you a good example of that, okay? Especially, you know the West Side well because Rose has been involved with a couple of developments on the West Side. The Esplanade, which was an assisted living facility, was recently sold to the Anglo-Berman Group, which is Bristol Assisted, which are quality assisted living facilities. And they bought this property specifically because they felt on the Upper West Side, which is a highly desirable neighborhood, specifically for larger families that want to be there, that making a high-end assisted living will do well.
And it will. There's no doubt.
I agree, and they're good developers and good operators.
So I have another question. You're involved with, one of the most luxurious hotel conversions or, condos. How are they doing?
Are we speaking about the Lombardi?
Lombardi.
It was co-opted, I think, in 1957, if I'm correct. And what's happened, it's a rare commodity in New York to have a hotel co-op where you could lease out as many days. There are no restrictions, come and go. The union is killing the business, and Airbnb isn't helping anymore. And you have cleaning staff that earns the equivalent with full packages of like $90,000 a year. You're paying housekeeping staff. That the maintenance is exorbitant and the room rates are dropping and people are losing money on an annual basis. And now we have the bottom fishers coming in because they know the business model will have to change at some point. And you could buy probably for $600 a foot in the Lombardi, pay the maintenance for a few years.
Right
and
off
then
Park Avenue.
Right around the corner from 432 Park, and hope that you're going to gain and probably triple your investment if you buy now and just wait out the time period. It's bad combination of things going on.
What about Newark and Harrison? Any thoughts of that? Or are you not allowed to go to that part of to those states?
I would go if I found the right asset. Exactly as Jim said, though, it's finding the right asset. We're actually looking in Jersey. We're looking in Westchester. We're about creating housing, and that's really what I know how to do.
Quality housing is what you're looking at.
I love Newark. I think it's a great location. I think it's the numbers don't work. You have to believe that the future will be different for Newark, but there will be a turning point where it will work.
And how many years out?
Who knows, right?
I think that's the problem.
You get a sense that people
Altman?
are buying.
So we like Harrison. We're actually in negotiations now on a large project in Harrison. So it goes Jersey City, Harrison, and then Newark. Right now, with what you'd pay for land in Newark and what it costs to build in Newark, it doesn't justify building brand new rental product when the rents are higher.
Going a little over.
When you go in Harrison and then and higher than that in Jersey City, and so it's tough to. So you can buy stuff in Newark now. If you buy, Gottesman had it right. If you buy the land really cheap and make it parking lots, well then you wait for as long as you want, and then one day it'll turn.
So in summation, it looks like the residential market continues to do relatively well. As I said at the beginning of the show, everything will be absorbed, and the world's not coming to an end. I'd like to thank my friend Hal, Jim, Adam, and Stephen, and I'll see you next week.